News in high definition.
Time now 5:59. Dry start to the day as we go through most of it. We'll see mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures warming up towards 50. You can see in the hour-by-hour planner here. By 6 p.m. though, that first shot at rain may work in, and we have rain working in through the overnight into the day tomorrow. Planning it all out for you. I've got the timing of the forecast track coming up in your ABC 57 first warning neighborhood weather forecast. ABC 57 News starts right now.
Covering South Bend, Elkhart, and all of Michiana. This is ABC 57 News at 6.
Indiana's governor is in town, where the governor will be today and who he's congratulating. Plus, ABC 57 News is following some developing news on a deadly GM recall as the CEO heads back to Capitol Hill this morning. And
we expect about another 8.8, 8.9 earthquake here sometime in the future. Could be tomorrow, could be in 50 years.
Breaking overnight, new details in that deadly Chilean earthquake, how many officials say died and where people are as aftershocks continue. Good morning, Michiana. I'm Eric Stelzer. Emily Pritchard has a day off. We'll get to those big stories in just a minute, but first, grab those umbrellas and jackets. It's going to be a wet one out there today. So let's head over to ABC 57 First Warning neighborhood meteorologist Tom Coombs for when that rain will hit. Hey, Tom.
Good morning, Eric. Well, most of today will be dry. Good to have the raincoat and the umbrella with you, but that's more for later today and especially the day tomorrow. So you want to have everything ready for the end of the week. Radar picture right now is dry, and most of the day will be dry. As we pan towards the south, there are a couple spotty showers south of Kokomo. Down towards Indianapolis is where we're still seeing rain this morning. Now, this rain will lift northward, and we'll see that rain build in as we go late tonight into tomorrow. Temperatures this morning, we've now dipped to 34 in South Bend, still 41 in Rochester, all dependent on where those clouds are. The clouds have thinned out. Temperatures are cooler this morning. We are tracking temperatures warming back up, and I've got the timing on the rain in your ABC 57 First Warning neighborhood weather forecast. Eric?
And breaking right now, the death toll from the earthquake in Chile has gone up at least to 6 people. Aftershocks are continuing to shake the country, and last night an 8.2 magnitude quake hit the country's northern coastline. Authorities issued tsunami warnings for several South American countries, but those are now canceled. Many people died during the quake, either from heart attacks or falling debris. The number has now gone from 5 until 6. Others were forced to evacuate and head for higher ground on foot to keep roads clear.
Everyone is staying up until super late up on the mountains.
You could feel the wall moving as well as the floor. And there's a tent in a veranda back in the garden, and you could really see that moving back and forth.
Most of the damage has been limited to houses made of adobe. Some injuries are serious, but most are minor. We'll continue following this breaking news and bring you any updates throughout the morning. Today, Indiana Governor Mike Pence is paying a visit to St. Joseph County. He's leaving Indianapolis to come to South Bend this afternoon. ABC 57's Eric Cox is live outside the Century Center. It's one of the places he's visiting this morning. And Eric, what's on the governor's agenda today?
Good morning, Eric. Well, today, Governor Mike Pence is scheduled to attend the South Bend Rotary Club's luncheon right here at the Century Center behind me. Now, I actually went to their website to try and find out more about the event, and I actually saw that he's not just going to be in attendance at the event. No, he's also listed as the keynote speaker here today. Now, I was also on the website, and I saw that, after doing some digging, that is, I saw what he was going to address during today's event, and that is he's expected to provide a state-of-the-state update. No doubt the affair is expected to have a huge turnout here today. The club's Facebook page mentions that they're preparing for a larger crowd than they usually get. Now, that may be why they've booked the Great Hall on the center's lower level for the event. The Great Hall certainly earns its name as well. The room is over 16,000 square feet with nearly 40-foot high ceilings, and it can hold up to 600 people, even after including the banquet-style tables and the rest of the setup. Now, the luncheon's set to begin at noon here today, and guests are welcome, although the time to RSVP has already passed, so don't expect to have a seat if you didn't reach out to the club ahead of time. And coming up later in the show, I'll have more on just what else Governor Pence is expected to do today during his visit here in South Bend. Live in downtown South Bend this morning, Eric Cox, ABC 57 News.
And it's back to Capitol Hill this morning for GM's CEO, Mary Barra. This will be the second day the CEO is getting questioned during a House hearing over why the car company took so long to recall vehicles linked to deadly crashes. At least 13 people died and 31 others injured during accidents. It's due to a faulty ignition switch that sometimes turns off when bumped. When that happens, it cuts off the airbags, brakes, and even power steering. Nearly 3 million vehicles are linked to the problem. That goes back to 2003. The Detroit company says it knew as early as 2004.
As soon as I learned about the problem, we acted without hesitation. We told the world we had a problem that needed to be fixed.
Barra met and apologized with about 20 family members yesterday who lost loved ones in crashes from the recall. And according to the Associated Press, the fix for the faulty switch would have cost just 57 cents. And the president will be in Michigan today discussing minimum wage. Obama will be at the University of Michigan. It's his third visit to Ann Arbor, and he's expected to speak around 2:30. Some students are already lining up for a ticket just to listen to the president's speech. Here's what some had to say.
I think it'd just be exciting to be in the same room as the sitting president. I think it's a great experience to have, especially in college.
Now, Obama plans to discuss his proposal to raise the national minimum wage. We'll have more on his visit during our evening and late newscasts right here on ABC 57 News. It's a big day for city and state leaders as Elkhart Mayor Dick Moore hosts his annual State of the City this evening. That's going to begin at 6 o'clock tonight at the Lerner Theater, and everyone is invited to tonight's State of the City in the Crystal Ballroom. And if you haven't heard by now, Notre Dame's second-ranked women's basketball team is heading to the Final Four this weekend in Nashville. However, the team is short one player before the Fighting Irish beat Baylor to move on. Natalie Achanwa went down with a torn ACL. Today, a release from Notre Dame says she's out the rest of the season. Here's what some players said about that season-ending injury.
We were like, well, she spoke, you know what I'm saying? We were just really happy for her, and we were just like, well, we have to do it for her. You know, she's done everything. She's a passion of this team, and we were so excited. We were like, we have to get this done for Natalie.
So what will it take to get that W for the star players this weekend at the Final Four? This is the fourth consecutive trip to the Final Four and the sixth time in program history. All season, the Irish have talked about the depth of this year's team, saying there is power both on and off the bench. This Sunday, the Irish will have to test that in front of thousands at the Final Four.
You don't think about how tired you are. You don't think about anything like that. You think about winning games, think about getting to that next game. And as a senior, you want to win your last game. And, you know, we have 2 more games left in my mind, and that's all I'm thinking about.
The Irish will have to rely on the players that normally don't start to replace Natalie Achanwa. ABC 57 will be live from Nashville this weekend, and our team coverage that's going to begin Friday during our 90 minutes of news. From a problem bar to a title no city in America wants. Both South Bend and Mishawaka made the list for the top 20 worst cities according to a Gallup Well-Being Index. South Bend ranked 174th, one out of 189 cities. That list is based on several factors, including emotional and physical health, as well as life evaluation.
I think that poll needs to be redone a little better.
Maybe they only interviewed people that weren't very happy and not a whole lot of positive people.
Nearly 700 people were interviewed from South Bend and Mishawaka. Those in Provo, Utah had the highest level of well-being, while people in Huntington, West Virginia had the lowest. New owners now have their keys to the Chase Tower. The downtown high-rise was bought a few weeks ago by Washington Square Realty. It's a New York-based real estate developer. That's the same company that took over the banknote when the tower fell into bankruptcy several years ago. The high-rise sold for $4.5 million, just a fraction of the market value. Our recent investigation discovered it's in desperate need of repair. A Pennsylvania man is taking a few days off from his job after getting a chainsaw in his neck.
I just revved it up and just kicked down on me, just nicked me right here.
We'll have the viral story for you, including what doctors say saved his life. Plus a new report out on that missing Malaysia Flight 370, what officials are now saying about the investigation nearly 4 weeks later.
Dry this morning, but rain that's going to be ramping up over the next 24 hours, tracking that April shower activity in your ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Forecast.